All right, what's going on, babe? So we watched last night the White Lotus.
Yep.
We've been watching every episode, right?
Yeah, we're every Sunday. It's like our thing. We love it. We look forward to it. So I always love like picking up some champagne and just you know
Yeah,
listen,
yeah,
watch those interesting characters,
yeah,
and it's always so mysterious.
absolutely. So let's get right into the big part, I think, because
Okay,
spoiler alerts, by the way,
remember
if you're watching. What?
talking to each other, not the public.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna kill this stream because it's just
No,
no.
you told me
Anybody who's watching, it's been
No.
our fourth false start here because we just can't seem to find the rhythm today.
I think like you were trying to be telling
No,
me you
well,
like you
we're
told me like don't talk to the people but talk to me. So
yeah.
I am, but then you talk to the people.
I know, but I'm trying to talk to you and the people. But the thing is, we don't have a 2-camera setup, so then we have to like talk to each other through the camera. Like I have to like bounce my vision from you to her somehow, and it's a bit challenging. Also, we're about to go off to a movie in like 35 minutes, so we're trying to like force rush this.
I want to just kind of go to the point then.
Yeah.
Look, I want to talk quickly about the intro. Okay, that's a big thing. I want to talk about season 3 in general.
Okay, let's start there.
Intro. I did not like it in the beginning. I thought that
wait, hold on. When you say intro, you're talking about the intro music.
Yeah, the
that's right. The first 2 seasons, the theme was very consistent. It was like woo.
It was like yeah,
and then woo.
And then now it's like I don't even know what it is.
It's like some like fanciful little waltz through the forest.
No,
like,
and it's yeah, and it like and there's some kind of like weird instrument, and
yeah.
Now it kind of grew on me, and I like it, and I look forward to it. So every time when I'm watching White Lotus, to get in a mood, you can't skip the theme song. So yeah, I think it's part of the experience.
It grew on me too. So we
love it.
We've enjoyed that. Now,
the cast, what do you think of it?
Let's talk about the cast. When they first introduced Parker Posey's character,
I love it.
Obviously, I thought, okay, she's supposed to be like the Jennifer Coolidge type, kind of a strange way of speaking, a little bit spacey, wealthy white woman. And it bothered me in the first episode because I know that she doesn't have that Southern accent.
By the way, but she actually said she's from the South, and because she wanted to work in Hollywood, she had to change her accent to sound more eloquent, because there's a thing in America where if you have a Southern accent, they associate that you're not educated, that you don't know certain things. So she actually toned it down, her real accent. So while we see her on TV right now, she's kind of letting a little bit out. Actually, I saw her in a couple interviews on the night show. She did a whole rounds of it, talking about her character. People love it. She said, it's not necessarily the area that she's from, but it's not far from where she's from.
Yeah.
But basically, she's been toning down her Southern accent to sound more coastal.
Okay.
Coastal.
Yeah, because when she came in like, well, hello there, I was like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, but I'm here. And then she's not, this is Jennifer Coolidge. She's more like, I'm here in Thailand and I can wait. I'm worried about tsunamis. What about the tsunamis come over here? I'm going to just have to drink myself to sleep.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of Jennifer Coolidge me, right? So, I have a little bit of it. Oh, yeah. And by the way, she got cast at, I saw on Jimmy Kimmel or so whatever night show that she was in, one of those night shows. She said that she went to Jennifer Coolidge Halloween party, and she had a whole little meet cute with the writer director of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been telling her for 30 years we're gonna one day work together.
Mike White,
and that day actually happened.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. Man of his word. But yeah, it threw me off in the first episode. Since then, it hasn't bothered me. I've come to enjoy the character as much as anyone else.
I love her. She's like one of the most beloved characters, quoted. So it's a good one. She talks a lot about her medication. What's the name of that medication again?
Lorazepam.
And she called her daughter Piper.
Yeah.
We love it. And so they said that they inspire the characters' way of speaking from the show called Southern Charm, which is
Uh-huh.
kind of like a reality from Bravo, and they have those very interesting characters. So for some reason, he wanted them to sound like that.
Yeah, I mean, you think that it's like an over the top thing, but there's like whole states full of people that sound just like that.
Yeah, and it's interesting that the kids put in no effort and tried to sound like the area they're supposed to be from. They told Patrick Schwarzenegger that he needed to watch Southern Charm. Everybody had to watch Southern Charm and kind of get their characters inspired by some of those characters that we don't know which one exactly he's, but he didn't really do a southern accent. He sounds just like himself, and the other kids either. So I wish that as an actor, as someone that study acting, they put a little more effort in trying to kind of mimic the parents accent.
Yeah, you know, I didn't even realize that.
I did.
Patrick
I thought it was like,
Schwarzenegger sounds nothing like he's from North Carolina. He's just saying like, "Hey, dude, what's going on?" You notice he does that big T thing. He's
the
been
Kennedys, the Kennedy teeth.
Yeah, when you see him in profile, you see the Kennedy in him. It's like,
I totally see the Kennedy. That's
oh, you
true.
doing over there?
That's true.
I am pleasantly surprised by him, though. I'll tell you, because every time that I used to try to interview him for TMZ,
Yeah.
he would always just be like, "I'm just going to get some coffee, man. Thanks." Now he's like
Throw himself at
being
TMZ
like the
before.
asshole, like brother. But he's good. He's actually a good actor. He's funny in it. He's entertaining. I totally buy into Patrick Schwarzenegger's,
Playboy guy.
emergence as an actor. Yeah. And
No, I
his
mean
characterization.
he's a good actor, but I do think that he should have done more of the accent to kind of sound more like the parents, because it almost feels like what are those kids are from California are doing with those parents from the South.
I will say one thing, which is
it's inconsistent.
Same as in the South as it could be in England, you're going to have a posh accent or well, not in England. Okay. But like people have different levels of accent. Like perhaps the parents on the show came from the poorer, more rural areas.
Actually, no.
Then they, sorry, I just want to make sure that you're being heard. And then like the kids grow up upper class. No, that's not going to work. Sorry.
I like where it was. Actually.
No, I know. I just like this mic is kind of shitty, so you gotta like be speaking into it. Otherwise, it doesn't quite pick it up.
I disagree. Actually, I know where you're coming from, but it's not the case. Actually, a lot of the Southern charm is like people that were a lot of ancestral money, like people that come here in America from colonial times have been building money and wealth since the beginning of times, and it's how they talk. Even the people that are more educated as well, they are educated. She sounds educated, and she said, the actress that plays Parky, what is her name?
Parker Posey.
Such a weird name to me. Like Parker sounds like a last name, and Posey sounds like a last name. It's like her name is two last names together. Parker Posey. But anyways, I don't think the kids did a good job doing the accent thing. Doesn't sound great. I'm not impressed. Didn't like it. Patrick, he should be working towards the accent and table reading and talking to about how he's supposed to sound. And even in Playboys that are trying to hit on girls in the Southern charm, because I watched the show, they have that kind of Southern quality to their voice, which is kind of interesting, but it was missing. For me, it was missing, and it's kind of, and sometimes I feel like he overacts. I don't think it's great acting, to be honest with you. I know you're trying to kiss his ass, but I don't think.
No, I'm just pleasantly surprised because every time we would see him out, he was just like
I'm just saying, like, right now,
boring kind of guy.
He is boring. I didn't like his acting. He sounds too forceful. It's not like.
I think he's doing a good job.
I don't think so. I don't think he is. I think Posey Parker, whatever her name is, Parky Posey.
Well, I mean, she's been acting
better
for 30 years.
The father's doing a good job, but let's be honest about the father. I don't know the name of the actor. He was in Harry Potter or Elf or whatever, or
Lord of the Rings, maybe.
He doesn't have any lines in the show. I noticed, like, He barely opened his mouth. He usually has 4 lines, and it's when he's his phone or when the wife was like, tell him how you know. So I think like the whole like pages of he's supposed to talk in the show. It's probably like less than 1 page.
Well, I mean, look, he's been going through it. A lot of his
it's a lot
process,
of physical.
his character development is internal.
Yeah,
Speaking of physical,
yes, physical.
He had that big full frontal scene last week.
It's CGI, by the way.
Well, I was gonna say
it's huge.
They make the scariest looking penises on the White Lotus because like this thing was like a root. It was like a plant that was.
I was like thinking, why does mine doesn't look like that when it's just sitting around?
Yeah, well, it's CGI. There's no such thing as a penis that looks like that.
I was just like, I was just thinking, like, well, imagine you going to puberty and as you expect now, and then in the real world, it looks like, I don't know, like a tiny worm.
Yeah, well, you're talking about before we got together, of course. So it's just weird though, because remember in the first season, Steve Zahn, the father, also has some like full frontal thing where he's got some sort of infection and like the wife is poking at it. And on this one, he lifts up his robe and it's like a piece of ginger that's just like sitting there in the dirt. Like,
I'm just obviously affected and jealous.
No, I'm not. But he's sitting there like, why is everybody so
jealous.
obsessed with this penis shot? It's like because you don't see a lot. You don't see a lot of full frontal male nudity on TV. Still, B,
HBO is being given.
They CGI it to make it look as freakish and nightmare inducing as possible.
I think it looked good.
Well, okay. See, you can think that as a woman. Sure.
I was actually thinking, I was like, if I was married to him, I wouldn't be happy that he's showing off. But I don't think it is his real PP. I think it's CGI.
Yeah.
And I do think like for so long, women's body has been exploited in movies, and we've seen so much of women. And sometimes you see a butt from the guy, and a lot of times it's not a good butt.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt gave a good butt at Troy, but besides that, I haven't seen a good man butt. And it's not like just a butt, like, but for women, they show so much of women, like almost everything. And I think showing like the man body, I think it's a way to kind of say like, you know,
they're not really showing the man, but I mean, I guess maybe they gave him the choice, but they CGI'd it. And by the way, I will say
they do that to HBO shows and Hulu shows as well too. Like they start putting pasties and CGIing the nipples. The bodies.
They've been CGIing women's bodies too for probably 10, 15 years now. If they choose to do that,
or if they're able to negotiate it,
they can do that.
But I'm just saying that I think that compared to what women has been giving in nudity, this is nothing. And he's correct. I think he got mad at a Fox News interviewer asking about, his parts, and he yelled at her. I don't know if you've seen that. It's going viral.
I didn't see that.
Just look like YouTube, Fox interview, White Lotus, male nudity. You guys gonna find it here.
Dude, like, what are you getting upset? You had a freaking troll doll down there.
I mean, he's just like saying, like, why do I have to answer so much about this? For the woman nudity, nobody would say anything. So he's trying to get the same right in a way, but in a way, it's also empowering to women to see, like, let the guys get exposed. Why do I have to expose the women? Expose the man now.
It's funny that he has one nude scene and he's immediately like, why are you always asking me about this? I don't want to talk about my nude scenes anymore.
He doesn't want to. Stop. By the way, the back of our TV, it looks like some kind of like, what is that, Epstein Islands there?
Yeah, that's a live view of Epstein Island right now.
It looks like a UFO right in the center where the ring light is.
Yeah, it's reopening, by the way. There's going to be a White Lotus. But no.
I heard it's gonna be the next White Lotus is gonna be a ski resort.
I don't even want to hear about it. Don't tell me anything about it. I don't want to know anything about the next White Lotus.
Okay.
At all. So let's get to the real crazy scene last night, though, which was not the brothers kissing scene. Which
that was
picks
pretty
up on
gross.
The incest storyline.
By the way, what was the brother scene? So is he in love with his brother then?
I mean, he's got some kind of weird sex thing. I don't know. The brothers walking around naked in front of him in the first episode, and
I mean, did you never walk naked in front of your brother?
Not like that. Not on purpose.
Really?
No.
I walked around naked for my sister, and
I
my
think
sister never done that in front of me because she's very embarrassed, like
it's different
self-conscious.
with
No,
girls.
no, she didn't like it though. I'm the oldest, so let me say something. I think there's something with the oldest sister and older brother. It's our house. It's our house. We're here first. Our parents told us that's going to be just us, and then one day there is a baby there, and then it's at my house, my territory. So I noticed a lot of the older siblings were a little more like, well, I'm going to be the naked one, so I will walk around naked around my sister. Of course, she not do it. She feel embarrassed. She'll cover her eyes, whatever, and I didn't care. I mean, I was just like, sorry, this is my house. So he is the oldest brother. So he's kind of, going to the shower or going, I don't know, he was jacking off.
I don't know, but like, no, it's a little much. And
I don't
clearly
think
he's
so.
doing it
It's
for some
very
kind of purpose.
Presbyterian of you to think that. I think it's pretty normal if you're both guys and you're going sharing a room in a hotel. Your brother is not going to see you naked. Of course, he's going to. That's why when you go on a work trip, that's why I would never do a work trip that I have to share a room with someone, because I was going to be naked. My coworker is going to see my body naked.
Okay, but that's your choice. Like, you can wear clothing
No,
or
you can't.
underwear or something. You can't. Okay.
No.
Well, anyway, that's not even what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about the scene that everyone is commenting on, which
one?
is the guy who talks about how he
Wants to be an
wanted to
Asian
be the
one.
lady boy and he wanted to get fucked by like a lady boy
Oh.
instead. And Walton Goggins has that great acting that he was doing in the scene. So like, basically, there's a he meets up with this guy.
Can people
It's
see it?
Sam Rockwell. No, they can't see it yet. I'm gonna put it up here. Sam Rockwell, and he's in Bangkok. And he was banging cock and getting banged by cock out there. He sits down and has one of like the most disturbing and yet like just great monologues in TV. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. It was like so out of nowhere.
Dante
it
will
was
keep
so
looking.
odd.
He was like,
everyone looked like Walton Goggins in that scene.
When he was like saying that, Dante would look at me. He would be like, and I was just like looking in my mind, thinking, can this get any worse? Because it almost sounds like he's inviting him to F him, because he said his dream is to be fucked by himself. So he said he reminds him of himself. He starts a conversation. Hey, you remind me of myself. And I came here and I was insatiable and I was addicted to the thrill of getting women in the streets. Then I start paying people in the streets to watch them to get, nailed. And then I pay for the people that had
it just kept going and going.
And then he paid to get effed, and then he wanted to be one. He said that he's her, she's him, that we are the collective. Very like yoga
it was
BS,
great because
crazy.
as crazy as the show is, and as like dark, twisted, humorous as the show is, as we come to know it, this was still totally unexpected. We think he's just sitting down to meet an old friend to like get a bag with maybe a gun in it or something.
That's what it is, probably that bag. I think all that's
of a sudden it's like, yeah, I wanted to get
nailed. Destroyed by you.
Yeah, I screwed lady boys, sure, but then I wanted to become the lady boy.
To be screwed by guys like you.
Yeah, but then he's like,
oh,
and then I became a Buddhist. Like the whole thing was just so every turn you didn't know which way it was going to go.
By the way, everybody that tells me they're super spiritual, they all have like a weird story. Yeah. I have friends, female friends that are like, they become super like into like yoga. And so they were like at some point married. Then there's some point they got divorced. Then it's they hate men. Then they start dating. Then they hate men. Then they become lesbians. Then they cannot deal with women because women are too needy, and they realize how they're so needy. And then they decide just to go to yoga retreats and Burning Man. And I'm like, wow, like what a life, right? Like you all in the end to kind of use the spirituality as a way to, I don't know, like get away with
Everybody,
promiscuity.
yeah, you can guarantee that everybody you know who is like super new agey spiritual and make sure that you know that this is what's going on underneath.
Yeah.
This is their inner monologue. I want to be the lady boy getting effed is what's going on inside all of them.
I wonder, there is actually a study that talks about men that watch porn, or they call corn here because I'm not supposed to say that word, corn. Um, that should I say corn instead?
Sure.
Men that watch corn, they imagine themselves as the women a lot of the times, so they're not watching as the person doing the action. They imagine themselves as the person receiving. So there's like a lot of forums on Reddit, because I was so curious after, and I Google it actually. I was just like, was it those men that watch porn, did they imagine themselves as women? I went to Google, guys, super easy search, don't do it, but you guys should do it. Look at it, say, when I watch porn, I see myself as the woman. Is that a normal? I'm a heterosexual married man. It's everywhere, and a bunch of guys are be like, "No, man, it's totally natural, man. It's human nature," and it's not. Okay, I'm gonna say something to you. You think it's a natural thing. It's not natural, and it's kind of gay. And I'm sorry, it's just the truth.
Well, Mike White must be on those Reddit forums.
No, but I think it's cool though. It's such a cool thing because you never think about it,
Yeah,
and
I
it
mean-
is part in back of people's minds.
Who
Like,
knows?
it's
I
so
mean,
weird.
all I know is in the context of the show, you're watching season 3 thinking, okay, like I'm enjoying this as always, but is it going to be able to get that to the highs of season 2 even, or season 1? Are we going to have some big signature moment? And then you also have seen the parallels, similar characters, a similar way the stories play out. They're always sitting at the table having conversations and cutting back and forth, which I love. And then this scene with Sam Rockwell comes out of nowhere.
Nowhere. He's not. There's no introduction.
Totally different than like any
different.
conversation that you've heard in either of the
But
previous 2 seasons.
but I do
and that's
think-
why it was great, because
No,
the show
no.
can still surprise you.
No, I do think it's normal for White Lotus to have that kind of. They don't introduce characters like normal shows. They just bring it over, because that's the thing about vacation, right? You go to vacation in your room one time talking about life and about what we're gonna have for dinner. Then we go downstairs to the bar, and then we make friends with some random older couple that want to buy us drinks, and and conversation progresses. Then you go to a different spot, and then you become friends with the waiter that just moved there, and you kind of like, not friends for forever. It's not like we exchange information, but when you're on a vacation, the whole thing about vacation is that you have different characters or people coming into uninvited and just kind of coming there. So this kind of brings even more like this kind of like, oh yeah, I haven't seen you forever. By the way, let's catch up. And then it's when you kind of have that, that uncomfortable conversations that you might have with friends that you haven't catch up in a long time, and a lot happened. So that kind of thing, it's part of the White Lotus holiday experience.
No, I agree. That is part of it in its dark, twisted way, but it was just really surprising,
unexpected,
but well done. And also, like, both of those guys earned at the very least Emmy, Golden Globe nominations for those scenes alone. I mean, because
I think best writing. I think the writing
was great.
The writing is great.
Absolutely.
Well, like, whoever was thinking about this writing, like, I want to know what's in your mind and what inspired it. Was it the Reddit files? Oh, sorry, the Reddit queries.
Yeah. But like the way that Sam Rockwell handled the monologue and all the different places that you have to go to make it believable. Coming in, we know nothing about this character. He just sits in and totally embodies that freaky weirdo shit. And then number 2, reacting in the way that Walton Goggins did, where he's like capturing like
he's frozen.
But
he's
like it's funny, but it's also realistic for the scene. And it's not overdone, but it's not so underdone that he's just stone-faced.
I think it has a meaning. I think it has a meaning because, like, his father married someone and abandoned him. I wonder if in Thailand, I wonder if his dad is not a dad anymore, and I wonder if his dad became the lady boy,
Interesting.
or the lady boy. No, I have a feeling that the owner of the hotel is his father.
I don't know. I don't think that, but we'll see. We gotta run because we're gonna go see the movie Black Bag. Is it?
Yeah, it's kind of like the series Mr. and Mrs. Smith
Kate Blanchett
and Michael Fassbender.
Fassbender. So we'll tell you how that was on our next episode.
Yeah.
And we still got to talk about the Baldwins. We haven't talked about.
Oh, we have a new episode to catch up first, actually, before talking about it.
Yeah.
But look,
so much to talk
well,
about.
I just want to say I'm loving the White Lotus. Such a great show. It's like it's inviting. It's cool. The three ladies like torturing each other.
Oh, yeah,
One
we didn't even get to them.
Yeah. They're like, I'm just gonna close it out. They're like, one is like an actress and she's married to a younger guy. She's totally just cheating on him, right and left there with everybody. The other one is a professional lady that her husband left her. She's there to be the divorcee, kind of like the one with the longer hair, not longer hair, like up to the chin. And then there's one with the super short hair. She's a little more the up straight, kind of like she's a little bit of the trouble starter. I noticed everybody when they start talking crap about each other, she's always the one that instigates, like, oh my God, like she's just so into her career, right? So narcissistic. Or there's like, oh my God, she's so into like she forgot about her family and then now she's divorced. And she always starts this kind of weird dynamics. They all kind of frenemies in a way, and they're trying to have a good time, much like Jennifer Coolidge. I have a bad feeling that what's going to happen with them, because a lot of the times when those younger guys on vacation start hitting on younger women, no, older women, sorry, not that they're ugly, they're attractive, but like they're hitting on them, obviously have girlfriends, is because they're going to attempt some kidnapping or robbery. So it's never good news. I can't wait. I'm kind of scared for them. And I was a little, by the way, leave a comment down below if you think that when the boys took the pills that they were going to die from fentanyl. Because I was kind of thinking, I was like, oh no, this is going to be a fentanyl lesson. This is Mike White trying to teach the youth to not take fentanyl because everybody keep dying. Even there is recently, yesterday, a drag queen from RuPaul Drag Race died.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking like, I was thinking, oh my God, it's going to be a fentanyl. But thank God it was not fentanyl. They are the guys from the show. They are alive and they make out, the brothers. But one of the brothers was like, he was like, what the heck did you just do? He was like, he looked like the guy from this scene.
There's a lot that's going to be a lot that's set up to be interesting in the next episode. All right. We really got to go. Goodbye. Thanks.
Subscribe, like, leave a comment down below. And thank you so much for watching The LA Couple.